So what I'm going to do is just part 4 of our cryotherapy and compressions physiology lab. What I'm going to do is just go down each question, say the question out loud, and then I'm just going to go through the answer, each question at a time. So first question says, in your own words, explain the impact of cryotherapy on the inflammatory process. It decreases the need for oxygen, and it slows down the metabolism, so like decreases the need for nutrients, etc. It slows down the reactions because with colder temperatures, such as like ice or anything, it slows down reactions as well. And with the slow reactions, that means there's a decrease in inflammatory mediators. During this, there's a decrease in capillary permeability, which means that fewer items are able to pass through the capillaries. There's also a decrease in hemorrhage at swelling due to the decrease of the inflammatory mediators. And lastly, for this question, there's little to no evidence that cryotherapy and there is a relationship between cryotherapy and blood thickness. So for number 2, it says, in your own words, explain the impact of cryotherapy on pain. So ice is a non-painful stimuli and I can relate this back to the gate control theory. The way I can do this is there's an increase of depolarization threshold for the muscle, and this equals less muscle spasms and therefore less compressions on the free ending nerves or free nerve endings. I'm not sure which one it was or what it's called specifically. There's a decreased speed of transmission, and I can kind of relate this back to our lab and what we did with the balance portion. So although my numbers were kind of out of whack of how they should have usually been, usually when you have cold application or cryotherapy happen and then you test your balance afterwards, it's supposed to be worse. Mine happened to be better, probably just weird like that. But yeah, that has to all do with the just the decreased speed of transmission. Number 3 says, in your own words, explain the impact of compression on the inflammatory process. Well, there are 2 types of compression. There's the circumferentials and the sequential. There's equal pressure applied at the swelling site, and then there's the other one starts at the distal and goes proximal. So this is kind of like comparing the Game Ready and the Normatec. Game Ready goes from distal to proximal. Normatec is all at once. So there are 2 types of ways to get rid of swelling. The first is the venous system, and that increases pressure on the tissue and forced fluids. That increases pressure on the tissue and forced fluids back into the veins. And the second one is forced back into the lymphatic system. Lastly, it says, in your own words, describe the impact of compression on pain. This one's pretty simple. It's just the decrease of painful stimuli on the nerve endings.